Gab.
Colton Hunt.
And of course, Jessica Knowles.
Hanging. Third mic and hardcore with the computer. Thank you for running the computer, you know that?
Always.
Appreciate it.
Always.
We
Somebody's
had,
gonna do it.
we had another little break here of about a week, but
Yeah, we'll just take a week off.
it'd be like that in the summer. We're busy. Busy bees. Stuff's going on. You're still working, 12 hours a day, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. And we're going to work again this weekend.
Working for the weekend. Yeah.
Putting it in, getting the money.
Getting paid. That's all that matters, really. Saving up as much money as possible right now. We're getting a pool table soon, man.
You're going to get the pool table.
8-footer.
Okay, where are you getting it from? That company you're talking about before?
Kincaid
Okay.
Billiards. Shout out to you guys. You're awesome.
Kincaid Billiards. Where are you going to put it? In that fancy?
No, the carport, you know,
Uh-huh.
at the house. We're closing it in.
Oh, you're going to close it in. That's going to be super nice.
Jessica's already got the money for it and everything.
She's making a weird face. I wish, yet
Yeah.
again, cameras. I haven't.
She's
set
got an
up.
OnlyFans. Subscribe to. I'm just playing. She doesn't.
No.
She does not.
Foot pictures.
You are
No,
not
it's just
lying.
pictures of cuticles. Just her cuticles.
Oh,
That's it.
well kept.
No.
no. Raunchy.
Before and after pictures.
Oh, okay.
Is it raunchy?
Just like dirty.
Yeah, dirty. She's been gardening for about a month.
She gets a macro lens. You can see like the little aphids running around on it and everything.
Aphids. You know, you could like buy aphids and grow them and raise them like sea monkeys.
Really?
That's a thing.
Well, why would you want to do that?
It was like a thing back in the day, I think. I heard that somewhere.
I know you can do that with nematodes in your yard.
Nematodes. You can
And-
do
and
that
they
with
kill
regular
fleas.
toads. What's so funny?
Why is she slapping her
Just got
leg?
me. I just imagined a yard full of toads.
Oh well, yeah, that would be
I mean,
strange and
I
very
was gonna say that-
plague-like.
Nematodes kill fleas, but I guess regular toads kill everything else that flies. So I mean,
anything. And small turtles if they have to.
will they really?
Yes,
How does that work? They eat it?
they drown them. I
Oh,
think.
they hold them underwater?
Yeah, they drown.
Very
them.
violent.
No lie. Yeah, it's wild. All right, but that's not really why we're here.
We're too busy drowning in our own ways out here with people not wearing these masks.
That's the Bible Belt for you, man.
I'm not trying to help anybody else out.
Excuse me, that's just the South, pretty much.
Well, yeah, it's interchangeable.
I mean, it's everywhere, honestly, but I think it's more prevalent here for some odd reason.
Why do you think that is? Let's be objective. I don't want to be too biased. I had someone tell us that we needed to respect Trump not too long ago. And
Who said that?
some dude, some guy on
They say it to
Facebook.
your, oh, okay, so
You
it's not real then. They didn't
No,
say it to
I mean
your
it was
face.
it was a
They give you a phone call?
Facebook message. I guess he heard the podcast.
What was his name?
Yeah, I'm not going to do that to him.
All right. Well, that guy, whatever.
We're biased.
we're grown here. We're adults.
Never claimed to be a news source, everybody. We've
Yeah.
said that literally every time we've said anything with an opinion in it.
Yep. This is all just personal and speculation at its. I mean, pure.
We try to use as many facts as we can find, but
That's why we have Jessica, the third mic. All right, but I think why people aren't.
yeah. Why
Why
do you
people
think
are
people
resisting?
are resisting wearing the mask currently? Because I have my own opinions, and I want to hear what you have first.
Well, from personal experience, there are people who think that it impedes their ability to breathe properly.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then there's I would say, harder right-leaning people that, are just against any government mandating a certain rule that would literally help us.
Those are the ones I sympathize with the most on this too, though.
I understand it too. I completely understand it because I don't want to be like France in like 1800s. You feel me?
Oh yeah, no. And I understand where the principle is. Like, you give somebody an inch. Like, maybe this administration won't take it the mile, but if it's the precedent's been set, like, I always reflect back to the Patriot Act. Like, you give somebody an inch, suddenly all of it's gone. Like, we're the least private country in the world right now. Well, the least private first world Western power.
Right. And it's also very I guess influencing or whatever that our elected leader of the country does not wear one.
Yeah, he's
refuses to wear
definitely
one.
got his own agenda there that contradicts what his administration even says. Like the guy that he picks. Well, keep in mind, everyone listening. We want to hate on Anthony Fauci because he was a part of all this stuff, but he got more or less picked to be a part of that team by the guy that you're supporting. If he didn't want him to be there, then he could have picked someone else.
Yeah.
Or if he didn't pick him, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Pence picked him because he's the head of the team. But Pence is Trump's right-hand guy. They're supposed to have very similar beliefs. So
And if Fauci really, was disagreed highly with Trump or Pence's views, he would have left, man. He'd resigned. Or
he'd at
done
least
something to get him fired.
left that position
Yeah,
of
agreed.
the task force for sure. Because he's the National Institute of Health or something like that he's a part of.
Something
It's not the CDC. It's something else.
multisyllabic. Syllabic.
So you think it's largely because they think it's getting in their way of their rights,
Yeah, it's infringing on their rights. That's
infringing on their rights,
pretty much.
government overreach for mandates.
And what is it? People being naive, man.
So naivety,
Naivety. There. Well, I was gonna say naivety.
rights being breached by the government, or being led by example that they shouldn't, because
More or less, I guess.
well, I mean, like you said, Trump hasn't worn a mask.
Ever. I've not seen one.
He doesn't wear one. He doesn't seem to believe in that and doesn't care about any of the information that's been presented to him on just about anything, it seems.
he just keeps like a bottle of Lysol.
I guess, just like
right
sprays.
in front of his face all the time.
I was going to say, like, inhales it,
like an inhaler.
Yeah.
Get
I
a
mean,
whiff of this albuterol.
that wouldn't surprise me.
I mean aerosol.
I think it's very, very much along those lines, too, that it's kind of a groupthink deal. A lot of the conspiracy,
mind.
which we covered groupthink in an earlier episode. Go find it.
You mean hive mind?
Well, that too. Hive minding.
It's just a little bit more demeaning of a term for it.
And the reason I said I definitely get the government overreach thing is, like I said, whenever an inch is given, miles can be taken. And from my experience with everything, the government sucks at doing anything it's supposed to do. We have a prime example currently. I mean, talking about roads. I mean, even in our own town, the guy,
Talk about a police force that won't enforce the mask wearing.
police force that won't enforce the mask wearing. The mayor,
Mask wearing.
the mayor, the mayor being the way that he has been lately.
I appreciate how he apologized though. That was
Oh, did he apologize? I'm
I
over
didn't see
here
that.
still
It was-
throwing shade.
it was pretty sincere.
I didn't
It
see
seemed
it.
like it.
I didn't see it. I'll have to look that
Did
up.
he
So I'll-
apologize for?
I'll pull back.
For disrespecting that woman
Yeah.
to her face in front of countless people. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and
And
then
he apologized to a ton of people.
My favorite thing was, like, as soon as he got finished berating that woman, they turned around like, "Okay, we're going for a break," and everyone took their masks off while still sitting near each other. I'm like, welcome to, like, invalidating your entire push. Which also, that's my second point for why I believe it's so common around here and everywhere to resist wearing masks, is it's so wishy-washy. Like, you heard it from in the beginning, and I mean the very beginning, like back in February, the CDC told people not to worry about wearing masks because, like we were talking earlier, masks really only help whenever you're the sick one, and they still only do.
Yeah, and they contain it to you.
They contain your air closer to you, if not perfectly close to you. That's the same point of surgical masks to begin with. It doesn't keep whatever's in the room from getting to the doctor. It keeps from whatever's in the doctor from getting in your open wound.
Yeah,
You don't want
exactly.
that to happen. So, and it's the same thing all around. So originally, the CDC's approach was don't wear a mask unless you're sick because there's no reason to. And then, like I told you earlier, I'm pretty sure they realized how viral this was and that you didn't need to be symptomatic to be spreading it, or you might be asymptomatic and have it, And if that's the case, we have to cover all of our bases. The only way to do that is everyone needs to have a mask right now.
At all times.
And I agree with worrying about the government stuff, like I said, but also I agree that people are stupid. And
Stupidity is rampant right now.
And that's the reason I still value an electoral college for the same reason, because people can be misled in either direction. So you'd want someone with goodwill and character as a representative of all of you, which that's the problem. Most of ours are not of goodwill or character, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
But you still need to have somebody that's in an informed position to be able to almost parent you. Even to like, this is what needs to happen. Because with the wishy-washiness of it going back and forth of is it effective, is it not effective? Now it is, but then we have other statistics coming out that say it's not as effective as something else, and or it's not as useful as a vaccine. Of course not, but it's a game of inches, you know?
I mean, centimeters, really.
And every little bit, like, that could be the thing that makes a difference.
I mean,
So yeah,
Is it
I
just not
think it's
like-
that.
I don't understand how it's not just apparently clear that if everyone's wearing a mask, air from you and I, even though we're not wearing masks right now,
Right.
but we know we're pretty safe. Just common sense tells you that if our air is contained to us two, yours to you, mine to me, is anything going to spread other than the sleep from our eyes if one of us blinks too hard at each other?
Right. Well, you can test this yourself.
You can jump in whenever you want to.
No, I was gonna say you still have these people that don't believe this is real.
Oh yeah,
Right,
people
right.
think it's a sham.
Well, that's another
And-
story. Like,
I think that's
I
where
hate
you
them.
get. I think that's where you get a lot of the people not wear. At least maybe 25% of your non-mask wearers is they don't believe it.
well, I do
I
think.
hope it's not that big of a.
Yeah, I do think there are some people, especially in this area, because we're more rural. We're not like
I agree.
completely urbanized. Like, we're not Nashville. We're kind of out in the sticks, especially if you get towards like more like the Tipton, Lake County area, all that. Like, when people are not having to, we don't really get to experience people that have had the virus. Now we are, but in the beginning, in the first like 2-3 months, we weren't. Whereas people in like Memphis and Nashville were just now starting to feel a little bit of it, and then bigger cities like L.A., Chicago,
Started
New York,
getting hit.
they were like, "Oh shit! Like this
Seattle.
is real. like this is a thing." But it's like that trickle down of, it's literally like Pandemic Inc. It's literally like the stupid game you can play
Oh,
on
the
your
game
browser.
app, yeah.
It works the same way. It's like if you notice the spread, it's like, oh, suddenly the bigger cities, and it takes forever for it to get out into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But when it does, it's there. So there's that lack of sight. You can't really see it happening. Especially with this one, it's so similar to allergies, cold. There's a spectrum of ways it can hit you. I guess it's different strains, but you can. I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless it really does just impact each person separately, it have to be different strains to have such a vast variety. Because I know some people I know of at least 2 people that had to be hospitalized for it at this point. But I know like 3 people that had it, and they didn't know they had it, and they didn't even know when they got over it. Because it was just the regular allergies, and we had that Sahara dust thing come up here about in the same time. So all of these things, like you don't know.
Sneezing a lot.
Yeah, you're like, did I have coronavirus, or was it the allergies I always have, or or of course if you got hit with it where you had double pneumonia or something, you'd know that oh no, that was the virus.
Yeah, I got hit with the
And
COVID.
I think that's like a third thing is, it's so hard.
Yeah, people don't think that's going to affect them heavily.
Right, because statistically,
It won't.
on paper, still it won't. Like
35 and up is like
right,
teen.
but we're the younger ones are the ones that transmit it the most.
Yep.
Because obviously
We don't care.
we don't care, or we might not know even.
No, we have it.
And this is a very interesting thing that he takes out the outliers. And when I say outliers, like I say young ones, but I don't know if there's even been that many cases of like young children dying from this. I know it's mainly elderly, and in the elderly, it's still mainly those with pre-existing conditions.
Right.
We've touched on the topic of why it's a big deal to worry about it.
We've touched on it.
It's not
what
the
it
fact
is.
that it's such a deadly thing. It's the fact that it'll overload the system. That's the main concern. Like,
I said it earlier, right? You said overload the system. Man, look, if people don't wear the masks and we cannot stop its spread, it is the corona. Guess what's going to happen?
What?
Anybody?
Tell me.
Shut down.
We're going to shut down again. The country. Okay? Second shutdown, don't think the economy can survive it.
No, I don't either.
Agreement?
I
No?
mean, we
Oh,
already
sure.
went into almost World War II levels of debt trying to get through the first one, and it didn't help as many people as it was supposed to. So
After the economy collapses, let's hypothetically,
hopefully stays hypothetical.
hopefully stays hypothetically, I would say a lot of people get angry. I would say a lot of people lose their jobs. I would say a lot of civil unrest happens, and then old fucking Big Brother, orange carrot looking, fake tan, Bible fake thumping. I want to say so much worse, but you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna issue that big boy.
Yeah, nobody wants the big boy.
Yeah, you know what the big boy is?
I know.
What is it? What's the big boy? Inform.
Oh, what's it called? It's you and your dad were talking about it.
Yeah, but you
where
can just say the normal one.
I know what happens.
Martial law.
Marcellius
there we
laws.
go.
I was gonna say we are martial.
Well, no. What was it that you were talking about? It puts us
Insurrection
in
Act.
wartime.
Oh, if somebody were to declare war
You right.
and President Trump
Could stay long.
remains
Yeah,
in
yeah.
office
right.
Which that's another
until the
thing.
war ends.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just so
and
you
talking about the economy, it's funny you said that little snippet. The little bit that I work. So anytime we need change,
Yeah.
so we went to Regions. We can't get change because Regions is not getting cash delivered anymore.
Oh shit.
And there's a change shortage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is
So-
a change.
There
shortage,
is.
That's right.
So actual physical like cents.
Coins.
There's like apparently a shortage.
Also,
I don't know why.
Common sense shortage too.
Yeah, that's been a thing for a long time. Thomas Paine wrote about it. Look that up. Common Sense by Thomas
Cite it.
Paine. It's a good book.
We'll drop that link at the end of
Yeah.
I don't want to stay stuck on like the whole grand scheme for too
Yeah.
long because this
Right,
one's
of course
supposed to be
not.
just about masks.
Right, yeah,
But,
but that's what will happen.
Ultimately, yes, the virus itself is not something from Outbreak where you're going to bleed from your eyes and everyone's like 80% of the population is going to die. It's still only going to take out about the same number as the flu would have on paper, maybe a little more. But the problem is it's stacked on top of everything that's already there.
Right, the flu already exists.
Yes, and if hospitals are already, especially around here, we've talked about it before, at capacity, normally. So when you add any extra strain, it's like what I used to use to explain global warming to people, from what I could understand. You got a bucket, it's got a hole in the bottom of it, and it's got a faucet pouring water into it, right?
Yes.
It remains just a little bit below the lip, but it drains fast enough that the faucet will never overflow it, right? That's
Right.
the normal system. That's how it's supposed to work. Well,
Yes.
now you bring another faucet in and dump on top of it, just a little bit more. It will eventually overflow. And that's just the way that it is. It's not that it's going to wipe out 80% of the population. It's going to overload the healthcare system, and then people that need help
Will not
won't
get
be
it.
able to get it. So that's what we're trying to avoid. That was the point of the shutdown. That's the point of the masks, and people are not seeing that. And that's largely media's fault. Media doesn't push it that way. They push it like coronavirus is this large death thing, which it should be treated as such, so that way you respect it. But I feel like maybe people would be more receptive of it if it was treated if we're talking about it how we're actually trying to attack it.
Right. No, I agree.
But we're not.
I mean, it's literally just. It seems like if any other event comes up in the news in the world, doesn't matter, nationally, locally, globally, who cares? It just bombards way over coronavirus stuff, man. Way over mandating the masks, local law enforcement need to enforce the wearing of masks, man.
I
I don't like saying that.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't agree, but I do, because ultimately I think in the long game, at this point, the only way we're going to make sure Jackson-Madison County General doesn't overflow is with the mandate. I don't like it either.
That's the
but
only way, man.
I don't
it
like
sucks
it.
that the government
'Cause-
is just holding us under its thumb.
we can't trust people to do it on their own.
They're not going
Because
to.
they don't think it's a big deal.
Exactly.
And it might not be for them. But like I said, we're fighting for the 2% here that are going to suffer from it the worst. We're fighting for the 5% that are going to suffer from the hospital being too full to get in. Sounds like a small percentage until you realize those are actual lives, similar to what you said in one of our previous podcasts about the Stalin quote, how like
Oh yeah, one death is a tragedy. 1,000,000 is a statistic.
you need to look at all these as the one deaths because they're actually people, you know?
Oh, yeah,
They're
for
real.
sure.
They're
Human beings are dying because people. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because people aren't wearing masks, but it is mainly that. I mean, shit.
largely that and lack of preparation. We could talk about this all day long. I want to get back to the topic at hand. About,
We don't want this to be an hour-and-a-half podcast, people. We're trying to keep them down
yeah,
to
we're
like
trying,
45
trying
to
to
30.
keep it a little short, but we'll see what happens.
If me and
So-
Colton start yelling at each other, though, it makes for good. It makes for good
Jessica will
talking.
intervene. You know, she'll,
She's our mediator. Mediator? Moderator.
the thing that I want to talk about most right here is masks. Are they worth it? Because I'm going to come at it from the perspective of
What do you
these
mean,
people
like-
that don't see masks are worth it. How, are masks worth it? How are masks worth it? Like, how
we
would they
We
stop?
just got done talking about it. They contain your air to you.
They contain, but what science do we have to that? Is there science to that?
I mean, you've got your testing of your N95 masks. I mean,
Your P100 masks,
Yeah.
your N95
I mean,
masks,
But even
even
cloth
cloth
masks, like I was saying earlier, and you were saying earlier, you could test it yourself.
for sure.
I have a 2-layer cloth mask I bought from a company called Gator. They make cases for music, but it's a jersey T-shirt liner on the inside and a canvas-esque liner on the outside.
Okay,
It has a place for a filter. I don't even use the filter.
right.
If I'm breathing, I can feel that on my hand. If I put my mask on and breathe at the same force, I no longer feel it on my hand.
There you go.
So to me, it's kind of self-evident that air does not travel as far as fast with a mask on.
Yes.
So if you know from the other science, I think a lot of this boils down to people don't trust the science.
absolutely.
So
I love how you came across that epiphany. You were like, it was just like laundry listed, and you just dropped your shoulders. You were like, well, I don't think people are. Damn.
There was
yeah,
a glow.
people just don't give a
He
shit
lit up.
because you
It's
could
such a simple
you
observation.
could you
too.
could say as much as you want, but ultimately people, and I think that also boils down to what you're talking about, the following the example of the quote law end quote, like Trump, other people that are big, that they're just so like Elon Musk is one of the worst about it too. I like
I don't
Elon.
know. I have no idea about this.
I like Elon, but he's super anti any of this stuff.
Why?
Any of the numbers, because he believes he's got better numbers and has come to the conclusion that it's not really a threat. Because statistically, he's coming at it from the point of deaths from the virus.
Yes.
I don't think he's weighing the big picture of the healthcare system that we have in America is shit, and it can't withstand a blow like that and keep everyone accounted for.
yeah.
So yes, statistically, not that many people are going to die extra, but keep in mind those are extra preventable deaths. So we're throwing it out that we don't care about preventing the extra deaths, that it's going to happen anyways. Actually, I had a friend of mine tell me that
And
not too long ago, and I'm like, well, kinda, but also, what a piece of shit you are.
a few people that I work with, man, have told me that it doesn't matter if we do or don't wear a mask because we're all going to get it. And I was like, what a sack of garbage. I was like, are you kidding me, man? Like,
It's
I
like-
have to
it's
wear
like
a
a
mask every day now.
Defeatist mentality.
It's like, and I'm one to say it.
Why should I try?
Yeah, exactly. But
It's going to get me eventually.
I have to wear a mask every day now, since since it's been
Right.
mandated at our work, and there are less than 10 people that work at my occupation, my job.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, less than 10 people. All right, all of us wear masks except for the manager, the secretary, and the assistant manager. Oh, also, assistant manager's father-in-law hospitalized on a ventilator because he got COVID from a fucking nursing home.
And that's not enough for him to wear a mask.
And that's not enough for him to wear a mask. You know what I'm talking
See,
about. You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
I know who you're talking about. It was like I told you the other day. It's like what's it gonna take? Is it gonna take like someone's child to die before they take it serious?
It will
it'll
take-
take way more
But
than
it's
that.
going to take that on an individual level for everybody.
Yeah.
It is.
And if that's the case, once it gets to that point, then your coworkers are right. It will be too late. Statistically, it's spread too far. If it's got to the point where everybody's had to experience a loss in their family to believe that it's dangerous, statistically it has reached its max. Like, it's not going to get any farther than that if it gets to that point. So this is the problem of preventative science, is like you have to trust it. And for some reason,
People don't.
they don't trust the
I
science.
think it's just selfish, man. I think it's literally
Ultimately.
people just being selfish.
I think there's a lot of that too.
And it's like I saw some shit on Facebook about like if you think that just because I don't wear a mask, I don't believe in respect and common courtesy for people, you're wrong, or some fucking nice
Yeah, justifying
witty,
themselves.
Yeah.
you know, like I mean, how many examples do people need to be given? You know what I mean? Like what you just said about the damn gator mask.
All right, it's
Literally, just put a piece of
self-test.
newspaper in front of your face and breathe.
Like, it's not hard.
You're not gonna feel your breath, dummy.
yeah, it's literally a physical barrier. Like it's just all it's like bullets. It's like the idea that yes, a pillow is not going to stop a 22 from going all the way through it,
Right.
right?
But it will slow it down.
But it will slow it down. So if you're still trying to stay a distance from each other, which you should still be trying to do, if you're trying to maintain that 6 foot, you have the mask on, statistically, it's going to drop it by a great amount. I don't know the actual solid numbers,
Right.
but I did look up a little, some research here.
I looked up some research.
Keith, I want you to reread the part you read earlier if you can, because you delivered it better than
Let
me.
me reposition myself.
See if you can locate it here.
Here we go. It will be right here. This is from, where is this from again?
This is a
This is a conglomeration
conglomeration
of studies.
study. It's face
We're
mask.
just going to talk over each other, aren't we?
It happens. Face masks against COVID-19 and evidence review. So it lists the names of all the people here. There's probably 20 people
And I
from
mean-
all over the place. There's a Russian, sounds like a Russian, Zdimal Vladimir.
They're from Czech Academy of Sciences,
Somebody that looks some type of German.
Cape Town, South Africa, Hong Kong Baptist University.
Some Asian names, some straight up American sounding names. It's got everything from like University of Pennsylvania, the School of Public Health and Family Medicine in
the
Cape
Department
Town.
of Information Systems, Business Statistics, and Operations Management. I
So
mean,
it's just a bunch of people from varying health related organizations across the world
from
coming
literally
together
everywhere.
to come to a conclusion. here.
Okay, so what you want me to read is our review of the literature offers evidence in favor of widespread mask use to reduce community transmission. Non-medical mask use materials that obstruct droplets of the necessary size. People are most infectious in the initial period. Am I tripping right now? I can't read. I'm so sorry. People are most infectious in the initial. Jesus Christ, I suck.
One more
fucking
time.
Suck. People are most infectious in the initial period post-infection. What the fuck? Okay, where it is common to have few or no symptoms. No medical masks have been effective in reducing transmission of influenza. Non-medical masks have been shown to be effective in small trials at blocking transmission of coronavirus. And places and time periods where mask usage is required or widespread have shown substantially lower community transmission.
I just want to double back. It's non-medical masks
Non-medical
have
masks.
been effective in
Yes.
reducing transmission.
And obviously medical masks, they're made for it.
Right. So what they're saying here, and it's pretty much clear as day at this little couple paragraphs here, that it works. They slow down the spread. What's this little part? The available evidence suggests that near universal adoption of non-medical masks when out in public, in combination with complementary public health measures, could successfully reduce effective R, which, by the way, they have something called an R naught, which is what they use to quantify the virality of a virus, like how quick it spreads. And you want to reduce that to below 1.0. So if you reduce it to one below 1.0, it would thereby stop community spread. Economic analysis suggests that the impact of mask wearing could be thousands of US dollars saved per person per mask.
Jesus Christ,
So that's just a little excerpt from this study here, and I'll tell you in a second how to get to it. But there's one more thing that I want to kind of verbally demonstrate off of it. There is a chart they have based off of the testing that they've done. It's labeled as the impact of public mask wearing under the full range of mask adherence and efficacy scenarios, and it's color coded. Color indicates resulting reproduction of the R naught. So, the initial R naught of this virus, by the way, is at 2.4. So that is
Giant.
1.4 greater than a traditional spread. You want it below 1.
1. Yes.
So, at the bottom left corner is basically if no one gave a shit about wearing masks and masks didn't work anyways, it would still be above 2. The top right corner is if we somehow developed a mask that was perfectly stopping viruses and everyone decided, yes, we will wear a mask, it gets it to effectively 0. So, in a realistic setting, if 50% of the population decided, yes, I want to wear masks, and masks were also only 50% effective, you would still reduce it to about 1.5. That still knocks it down by a full point.
Yes.
So that doesn't sound like much because we're talking, like I said, a game of inches, but you're going to half how viral it is.
Yeah, that's giant.
That's a huge thing. So if masks were only 50% effective, which, by the way, that's a coin flip. So that's an either or. That's 1 out of 2 getting it. Then, and only 50% of the population wore it, then we'd still see a drastic decrease. But if 100% of the people wore it, and it was still only 50% effective at
It'd be
masks,
well
we
below
would be
1.
below flu season levels. We would be at the level Japan has flu seasons every year, which is practically nothing.
Oh, God.
So
I'm disgusted, man.
I don't know. There's probably thousands more. Oh yeah, I was going to show you how to get to it. Go ahead.
I need
Keith.
to apologize for how terrible I just read. I flubbed so many words. What is this from?
Okay, so the link to this study that I just read from is from UCSF, which is the University of California, San Francisco. Now, if you, like in any form of information exchange or debate, you have to agree to believe certain base levels of things. If you don't believe that the science behind this is credible, then you're never going to believe any of the rest of the things.
Right.
We can't have a conversation about it.
You probably don't want to listen to this podcast.
The point is, if you trust the science, if you believe these people actually put forth the effort, and now you can cite, if you have other sciences you want me to see and Keith to see, by all means, please slide into the DMs on Facebook, hit us at the email, contact@bigwordlittlethought.com. Say, guys, I think you're wrong. Here's a study by so-and-so. I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
I'd love to have a conversation with you about it.
Call us fat idiots. We don't care.
Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're the ones that are being misled by the
CDC.
The CDC, but who knows? But the article here on the University of California is still confused about masks. Here's the science behind how face masks could prevent coronavirus. That's of June 6, 2020 when the article was made. Now, the study that we were reading was from,
June
I believe,
26.
April
10th.
10th. So it's an earlier one. So you could argue maybe more things have come up, but there's plenty of ways for you to research that out there, and I would advise that you do. And please make sure you're getting it from reliable sources. Alex Jones is not a reliable source. I think he's funny. He's a real funny guy,
He's hilarious.
but not a reliable source.
Man. Look, dude. We touched on it earlier. Like, I want everybody's opinion.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of mixed here. But what do you think it will take for the naysayers to finally wear the masks out in public? Oh, also, please quit wearing them in your car unless you're a fucking taxi driver, Uber driver, or you have strangers in your car. God, you're an idiot. I see. Oh, it pisses me off.
Maybe they just don't want to take it on and off,
I get that.
But just pull it down to your
Just
chin.
pull it down.
Also,
You're
I
in
saw
the car.
the most tragic thing ever the other day. These women walked in, I say tragic with like, sarcasm. I walked into, it's like a furniture store. I'm looking to get a bookcase. And these two older women, faces full of makeup, walked in, no mask on. And everyone in there had masks on because, per mandate, businesses can be fined $300 if they get caught without enforcing it. Well, they get handed these masks and told about how the mandates, and you could just see the disgust, just
my
the
God.
disdain in
The
their
privilege.
face. They're just like, okay. And they still didn't put it on and started talking to the woman about what they actually wanted from the store while they were there. And I'm like, come on.
Kick them out.
They should have, but they didn't. They didn't do it.
Why are people so... I mean, God, dude. Where are the balls at? I know that's kind of one-sided, but, I mean, where's your... Oh, God, man.
Too
Where's the
passive.
spine of these people?
It's passivity,
Where's the
man.
spine of these businesses? It's foolish, man. Jessica, Earthbound. You strictly enforce it, correct?
100%.
Every time.
Yep. You can't even get 3 feet in the door without one of us stopping you.
Because you got to. Because on top of it being something that should be done, because yet again, we're the only, I don't want to say civilized country, we're the only Western country. We're the only Western country that,
Oh, man, I wish you actually would have said it, though.
we're the only Western country that's had it back on the rise.
Oh.
We have reached our peak level again.
Oh, yeah, you saw the
We're
cases
going
in
to
Florida, right?
surpass it. We're going to beat what we already did.
You saw the... You saw the two... I can't talk about the fucking civilized country. That's so funny. No, the cases in Florida, those
Yeah, I
2
saw where
days,
the- yes.
like, in 1 week,
Jo-
4,000
Earlier today,
11,000?
I was reading that Georgia
11,000 people in one day.
Georgia
man.
did like 12 or something today. Something stupid. And we're one of the worst in growth right now here in Tennessee.
Right here in Tennessee.
Anyways, to come
Sorry,
back to
man.
what you were saying,
mad
what
now.
would it take? What would it take for people
Oh, yeah,
to wear it?
excuse me, yes.
Personally, for me, like it won't. It'll be impossible.
Nothing at all.
No, I don't think anything would make it.
Not
would
even a child dying?
Well, like I said, it would have to be on a per person because you know what's going to happen,
Right.
and what's going to happen is, out of a group of 10 families that are all friendly with each other, they know each other.
Mm-hmm.
If one of them had a kid that died from it, it would hurt like the closest ones, and they'd start enforcing it, and then the ones that were kind of more distant friends would be like, it was just his time,
We'll stay away. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
and that's what it's going to take because it's
I'm
like,
not wearing my mask in a damn Walmart, Colton. It's not fucking happening, all right?
yeah, well,
I can't breathe, all right? I
First
know
thing-
somebody who passed out from breathing in their own damn carbon dioxide, and I can't. No, I got people to feed. I got places to be. I got a job to clock in at 9 to 5. Excuse me, 8 to 5. I fucking hate those people.
And then they're going to take your
so
guns
much.
on top of
Yeah,
it.
they're gonna take our guns. My God, man.
well, it's more the same conspiracy stuff all the time. It's always the mental gymnastics, and it happens on both sides.
It does. It truly does.
But it's always the mental gymnastics of how is this being leveraged against. It's a victim mentality. It's everyone feels like they're being victimized by the government in some regard, which I get it. I don't like
Kinda.
Trump. I don't like Trump at all. But
No.
I don't think he's trying to actively. He's not trying to actively do anything. I don't think the rest of the government's trying to actively do
Well
it either.
put.
But Jessica, what do you think? Do you think what do you think it'll
what-
take?
Yeah, exactly. What will it take for ignoramuses, excuse me if I offend you, but also go fuck yourself, to wear masks? Be honest.
I mean, I don't really think there's going to be anything unless we got to the point where, like, military were patrolling our streets.
Oh,
Because-
you want to take it to Marshall time?
Yeah,
Marshall
I
Mathers.
think it's going to take something like that. Like, the United States as a whole is going to have to shut down.
That's what France did.
It will happen. If people don't wear the excuse me.
God-forsaken masks!
Well, I don't want to
It's-
cut you off. Keep going.
No, you're fine. I mean, it's.
But I mean, you're in pretty much agreement with Colton. There.
yeah, it's gonna have to get bad
Seriously.
before people like let it click.
Well, the thing that I hate the most, I'm sure it's like this in France too, but France had to do that out of the, well, they didn't have to. They chose to do that out of the jump. Like, as soon as they hit it, they had soldiers in the streets. Straight up martial time, basically. Not effectively. They weren't stopping you from doing things
Right.
on paper, but more or less, like, they were timing you. You had a certain time frame that you could, like, you had a hall pass for outside in France for a while. And I would hate that. I would
suck
absolutely
dick.
despise
would
that.
Suck.
But I think a lot of it, we don't have faith in our own government to return that to us. We believe in, a lot of people believe in this like New World Order
Oh,
thing
as
that's
soon
been
as they
pushed
have
for a long
control,
time.
they'll keep it.
Right, which, I mean, I understand they might. There is the risk of that.
Of course.
And there's definitely a line that needs to be walked of what should we allow. I don't think we should allow a martial state like that to happen.
I don't think
Because, especially not under the things that are currently, my opinions. I don't think now is a good time. I don't think any time is a good time for martial law, but now I don't either.
I don't want to. Yeah. Oh God. Sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it takes people being proactive to stop something like that. It takes you being aggressive in how you handle things on a ethical, moral level, person to person, to keep an entity out of it. Because at the end of the day, the entity is trying to do what's best for you, even if it's not what's best for you.
Right.
And I always, like I said, I point back to the Patriot Act, but that was all in all, that was to keep us safe from terrorists. Did it? I don't know. But it took away a whole lot of privacy. It allowed for the NSA and CIA to be able to tap things if they wanted to without warrants.
Phone calls, text messages, emails.
All kinds of things like that. And it's the
Anything.
little things that make you feel safer that open the, I think it's Benjamin Franklin that said something about how if you would choose security over freedom, you deserve neither. And this is a similar aspect, but I also have to agree that in general, people don't have the compassion or don't see it as being compassionate. They
No
might,
empathy. No empathy.
They might have empathy, but they might also believe that this is fake. And it's a war on multiple different fronts of information being controlled. And I'm sure there's still people out here that believe this is 100% lab made. There's probably out here that believe, like Jessica said earlier, that believe this is a hoax. Like,
Guys, contact us if you think this is a hoax. We would love to have you on.
for sure.
Not even bullshitting you. For
For
real.
sure, I would love to have you on if you think
Please
this is
come
a
here.
hoax. But all in all, I don't know. I definitely see the concern for rights. I definitely agree with those. I view myself as more of a kind of bleeding heart libertarian, a classical liberal. But I think there are times where we need to have some faith in the process of getting it done. Like, obviously,
So science?
that we've showed that we can't be held accountable ourselves. We're like children. Like I said earlier,
All of us.
We're like little children running around like, hey, do not hit Sarah anymore. And then we turn around and immediately pop Sarah in the back of the head with a stick. So,
Just
of course,
because. Right.
so somebody's going to have to come up and be like, okay, come here.
Sorry.
And I don't know. It's a sucky situation. There's no winning all the way around for this. Like I said, the main goal from the get was not to stop the virus because we can't. Science is not that good where we could turn around a vaccine instantaneously. We're still, from what I can tell, a few months out from a vaccine.
A few months.
No, well, at least a few months out from a vaccine.
I'm thinking next year, dude.
That's what I'm thinking.
Probably.
Because I don't even want to imagine what it's going to be like this winter.
Oh yeah, if it does what which is funny because we were talking about Fauci earlier. I know a lot of people disregard him instantly, but I was seeing where him and I think it's the NIH, the National Institute of Health, I think is who he's with. Anyways, we're coming out saying that we're knee deep in the first wave. Mm-hmm. China, if you paid any attention to global, which it's hard to pay attention to the global news because if you're looking at anything 24-hour news cycle like Fox or CNN,
It's just national.
It's just national stuff all the time. But if you take a look outside, China already had another big one come up. China's had some plague stuff pop up.
Yeah,
bubonic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jinx.
yeah. It's
Give me a LaCroix now.
so I don't think the bubonic plague's coming back. At least I hope not.
Jesus Christ.
Um,
I volunteer to be a plague
because
doctor
then
for sure,
then we'd be talking about the 50% of the population dying, which maybe we need it. I don't know.
We thought the same fucking
Yes.
I looked up, was like,
But they already had a resurgence already after
Right.
reopening, which maybe it is inevitable.
You see the stats in Norway and Germany?
Yeah, like everything did the bell curve up and then back down.
Plummeted.
And then we did like a half pipe. Up, down, up, and we're going to go way up higher, I
We're going to
think.
plateau at some point, and then we're going to go, oh, God.
I really imagine if we do hit anything higher than where we are, someone's going to push the administration to do another faux lockdown or a complete lockdown. I know city governments have already, a lot of them decided they're going to phase back to phase 2 or even phase 1. Like Memphis is supposed to be back at either phase 2 or phase 1 right now.
Well, Nashville closed all their
Yeah.
bars and shit, right?
Right. Yeah, that's I think phase 1 of reopening is everything's open except bars and stuff, and that no one's phased back down to a lockdown.
Dude, have you been to Zaxby's out here?
No, but
This is very local. Sorry,
I
guys.
heard you talking about it.
None of them.
No masks.
I didn't see a person with a mask on. None of them.
I've been to a few fast food places, and I noticed a lot of people were just wearing them kind of wrong or barely wearing them, and I kind of get mad, and I think to myself, it's like if I really was concerned about getting the virus, I probably wouldn't be going to a fast food place. Like I still agree they need to be wearing the masks. They need to be wearing the masks. But if I was really that
I don't want to hear
concerned,
it. I've seen you go to a fast food place.
I
2
know that's
weeks
what
ago.
I'm saying because obviously I look hypocritical
Right,
because
right,
I'm
we
like
all do.
wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask, and then
Hey,
I
man,
go,
it's free, dude.
Were they
It's
wearing them in
free.
Sizzler
It's
today?
fast.
oh, I ordered that off waiter, but my waiter guy was not wearing a mask, so. But he also barely breathes, so I figured he'd be on. He's my favorite waiter guy. This is funny aside. He's an older guy. And he doesn't talk. He's really slow. Like, have you ever see him pulling in somewhere? He takes him 5 minutes to pull into my driveway. No shit. It's like slowly angling. He'll stop and rework and then come back. I don't know if he just can't see or what it is, but he's this older guy, and he comes out and hands me my food, and I go, thanks. And he goes, huh? And he turns around.
Oh yeah, you're good. You're good.
Hell yeah, dude.
So
You were talking about people wearing them improperly.
yeah, like not covering their nose. You know what I'm saying?
How are you supposed to wear a mask, Colton?
The mask is supposed to cover both orifices of air entering your.
And should it be loose or snug?
It should be very snug to your face. Optimally, have a wire piece over the top that can
Right.
snug completely to the curvature of your nose and cheeks. In a perfect world, it would be something like from the movie Contagion or Outbreak, where it's a full helmet with
Yep.
its own purification.
Yep.
In a perfect
Would
world,
be.
but you want it snug as possible.
Yeah. So it blocks your any bacteria from your face
Yeah, you don't want any extra
going to
openings.
somebody else's face.
You want it as watertight as it could be in your imagination. And I promise you're not going to pass out from wearing a mask. I know people have been wearing them
You'll-
for 8 hours a day.
I wear them.
I know
wear
somebody
one
with
for 12 hours
somebody
a day.
with asthma been wearing one for 8 hours a day. So unless you got something heavier than asthma, then maybe.
I know someone with cystic fibrosis who wears it 8 hours a day.
Look at that, cystic fibrosis.
What hell?
What's cystic fibrosis do again? It's
You have okay. Normal people have 2 lungs, right?
Right.
2. You get 2, correct?
Yeah.
normally
They
it's
have
pairs.
1, pretty much.
Oh yeah, the capacity of
Of
one
one.
lung.
Don't they
one
And it's like-
produce a lot of
it's
mucus
almost like
too?
A lot of
constant
mucus
state
too.
of pneumonia, more or
Yes.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't pass out from wearing a mask.
They'd be considered high risk for this, I believe.
Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, fuck, dude. If that alone should say it, that alone should prove it there, correct? Am I losing my mind?
Yeah, but it's
Am I not a logical human being? I know
science-
I yell a lot, but fuck, dude.
science at this point has come down to a personal experience.
No. Oh.
It's no longer, we can't group learn anymore. Like everyone needs to reinvent the wheel. Everybody needs to figure out how to build fire from scratch. We can't take knowledge from other people anymore because we don't trust it.
Yeah, it's not our own. We don't own it.
Right. Well, we don't. That came from somebody that I don't believe is out to help me. Man, I don't get it. Like, people that are conspiracy theorists like that really think the entire world is
A
out
conspiracy.
to get them.
Yeah.
Like, everything's coming for me. It's coming from my guns, coming from my money, coming from my food. And I've seen, this is another aside because we beat the hell out of the mask topic, and we're probably going to call it here in a minute. But this is, I saw where now, which is underneath the veil of the Rona, covering all of the media.
Okay.
We're talking about switching to digital currencies. Anybody heard about that?
Nope.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, they're talking about switching to a digital currency, but people are shitting bricks because if that's the case, if it's a complete 100% shift to a digital currency, then that means only digital currency will work places. So that means everything can be 100% traced digitally. And people don't like that. I don't like that.
I don't either.
But I do agree with the idea of having a digital currency because on the global scale, China's already switched to a digital currency. And this is something that I called from a while back where I think, you could call this a conspiracy if you want to, but I think there's evidence for this. China's been trying to figure out a way to get a currency that is in their power, that is a reserve currency.
Okay.
Because ours is practically the only reserve currency. Russia's treasury is backed in U.S. dollars. So is China's. They want it to be able to be backed in their own currency. So that way, obviously, much how we are now wanting a lot of production stuff in America, if something goes bad with America, then their treasury could be worth nothing. They don't want that. Plus, they're not very friendly with us anyways.
Not right now.
So, on a global scale, if something like that came out and was successful, it really damages the value of our currency. And if we're not on the jump with it, staying on par, it's like a race. Everything is
A race.
a race to an extent. So, it could damage the value of our currency. I don't think we need to switch 100%. We can't plan for shit. I don't know if anyone can see this. The United States fails very bad lately at planning for anything. So I know if we just jumped into a complete digital currency, it would wreck us. But that's something we could talk about another time. So,
I mean, I agree. That's
but things like that are
kinda
happening
terrifying.
and popping off,
holy
and
shit.
all this
So
is going on under the veil of the Rona. But ultimately, for this episode, wear masks. The science is there. Research it yourself. And like we said before, if you find proof that it's not there, contact at bigwordlittlethought.com or our Facebook account or our Instagram account.
Yep.
Slide in those DMs.
If you have our numbers, fucking text it to us. We don't care. Call us.
Yeah, we
don't
want
call me. I
proof.
won't answer.
I want some proof of it. And like Keith said, if you believe all of this is a hoax and that this is a power grab from the government,
Please.
we'll schedule you in here in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. I'll schedule in here tomorrow. But no.
It's going to be hard. It'll be late at night.
Yeah, it'll be like 11.
I'll be pulling an all-nighter for sure then.
Yeah, no, I ain't doing it. No, we'll, definitely, if you do not believe it, if you believe this is a hoax, if you believe it's just scare tactics, fear-mongering, please get with us and we'll interview you. Jesus Christ, I can't speak.
It's okay.
Anything to add?
What do you think, Jessica? She's like troll-faced it right there, too. A little bit.
I think we're good.
Yeah, we
So
really...
far from good, man. We're so far from... Oh, you're talking about the podcast.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we're good.
I was like,
The country's safe.
get out.
Just wear your mask. Vote in your presidential elections.
There you
Vote
go.
your local elections.
Vote. That was just getting
Two.
there.
I knew you were. I had to beat you to it.
Black lives still matter.
Agreed.
Definitely.
And wash your hands. That's a good one too.
Yeah, 20 seconds at a time. Warm water, preferably.
Sing a song. Like
Oh,
while you
the
wash.
singing
Yeah,
song.
sing a song while you wash your hands.
She just threw something. All right.
I don't know.
We're done. We're burnt.
Yeah, on that note, it
We've
seems
crashed
like-
everything.
Seems like a good way to end there. Oh God, you guys, just be safe out there. Everything that Jessica said, do it. And from Big Word and Little Thought, have a good night.